An unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again another day, committed to being your consumer advocate, helping you understand your buying decisions, making you just a bit more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. Save our hotline number in your phone. At some point you may need it. 813-750-0550. That's our consumer advocate hotline. Call or text anytime. Off-air number 813-750-0550. And consumerqb.com if you want to engage with us. We would love to hear from you. Any comments with the show, we'd love to connect and read them on air from time to time as well. And giving a shout out to Discovery Golf Cars, a.k.a. Golf Cart Depot, longtime friends of the program for business or recreation. It seems like everybody's getting a golf car these days, and lots of makes and models to choose from. Star EV, they got the Easy Go, Cushman. They offer new and pre-owned as well. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Discovery Golf Cars, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And as you know, I'm the owner of the Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. We love to talk about some of our hottest real estate listings here. And we got one on Clearwater Beach, 1010 Bay Esplanade, right here in Clearwater, Florida. This one's on the north side of the beach, Millionaires Row. You got Hulk Hogan living on the island and some other superstars. 1010 Bay Esplanade. This is a great investment opportunity. You have a private apartment, private sun deck, two rental incomes built in. And the best part is you are just a 2 to 3 minute walk to the beautiful sand, sugar sand beaches and dolphin-filled waters of North Clearwater Beach right here in beautiful Tampa Bay, the hottest real estate market in the country.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
All right, we got joining us today, Jairek Robbins, performance coach. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Excellent. Yes, thanks for coming on, and want to talk a little bit about, today, there's a lot of folks listening, different business coaches or different folks involved in business. So I know that's one aspect of your business line, performance coaching, and just in general is, helping people live a better life and, ultimately that goal of freedom, living freedom. Welcome back to the show, my friend, and let's talk a bit about your business growth accelerator. I know that's a big part of what you're working on right now.
Yeah, last year we launched a small business owner survival kit, and we helped a handful of companies all over the world survive. We did a few exercises with them that helped them save anywhere between $3,000 to $300,000 and apply it right back to their net profit within like 45 minutes. And so we were putting together processes last year to help people survive this chaos of COVID going around, and we were successful. We have a bunch of letters and emails stating, hey, if we didn't work with you last year, we would probably be bankrupt right now and just completely out of business. And so that was really fulfilling and exciting. Now that things are starting to open up just a bit and we're getting a little more space back in our lives, we transitioned to helping people accelerate. And we're saying, okay, if you made it through the chaos and you're still standing, let's help you get back to where you were, or ideally get way further than you've ever been. And so, we've gathered up a handful of people. We put about 10 new businesses in every quarter. And so far, we've seen some extraordinary results. Our heroes from last year, they're a health food preparation company in Louisiana, right outside of New Orleans. And we helped them at a 50% gain in their overall revenue, wow, 171% gain in their profitability, and 195% gain of their net profit last year. My favorite part was this is a young couple who's pregnant with their second child right now. They were able to put their entire life savings back cash into their savings account right as their second child's on the way, which is such a blessing to give them that cushion at a crazy time like this. And I think that's the coolest thing in the world. So helping people figure out how do we build the monthly recurring revenue, how do we grow the business, how do we keep it moving forward in times of chaos like this is something we're wildly passionate about right now.
Yeah, right on, Jerick. That's a key point. I think overcoming adversity, and we all had a bit of that, with the COVID-19 virus and the pandemic. even, and that was going to lead to my next question is when you have a major event, you have something that's affected your life, whether it's a medical, I actually had a bypass heart surgery 4 months ago. So, overcoming these types of challenges that you have, what are some of the keys and tips to think about when you have something traumatic like that happen to be able to kind of just bounce back and get back into the game and succeed?
Sure. So one of the biggest mistakes people make who are trying to be helpful but totally just mess this up is they say, well, at least it's not, and try to name something worse. That doesn't help. I saw an article, and I don't agree with the phrasing of this article. It made me roll my eyes. They called it toxic positivity. I said, oh boy, toxic people have even gotten to the world of positivity. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't agree with the title whatsoever. I think that's worth eye rolls. But what I do agree with is not allowing a person to express the emotions they're honestly and truly feeling is not a good idea. And so what is useful to someone who's been through some traumatic experiences or hard times is to listen to them.
Yeah.
Just listen to them. And there's a whole bunch of people who stomp around saying, no, I don't want negativity in my world. I don't want people to kill my vibe. And honestly, it's about saying, hey, have you done the work to keep yourself full? And if you have, go support another human who's struggling and going through a difficult emotional time by choosing to listen to them.
Yeah.
Not allow them to knock you off your game, but instead to just show them that someone cares enough to listen. And if you're willing to do that, I'm going to give you a simple way you can give empathetic feedback. Number one, hear them. Listen to them. Stay fully engaged while they're sharing. So while they're sharing, wow, that's interesting. Ooh, tell me more. That's I never thought of that. Stay engaged. Engage with each one of their little comments. Give them a little feedback along the way. Number two, recap. When you're done listening, recap. Don't tell them your story. Don't tell them how you've one-upped them and you also have something happen to you. Recap it.
Yeah.
What it sounds like I just heard is, you just went through a bypass. That's quite an experience. My goodness.
Yep.
And then the third one, ask them, how does that make you feel? How are you feeling after that? What is that like? And let them share. Remember, all emotions felt fully lead back to joy. This is one of the biggest screw-ups we've had a long time in history is people, one, trying to bottle up their emotions, which is not a good idea in times like this.
Yep.
Two, trying to play off their emotions like they're no big deal, which is kind of bottling it up. But two, disregarding the emotions and saying, well, at least I'm not a cockroach in Bulgaria. That's great. It'll make you laugh for 32 seconds, but it's not helping the processing of the emotions. So number three is actually dealing with them. And dealing with them is when you let the tiger eat you. There's a story of a young kid running through the jungle. He runs into an old man. He's out of breath. He's exhausted. His feet are bleeding, and he's in a lot of pain. And he goes, what do I do? This tiger keeps chasing me. The old man looks at him and goes, let it eat you. And the kid's like, no! Are you kidding? That'll hurt. I'll die. I won't make it through that.
Yeah.
And he says, the truth is, the longer you run from it, the more pain you're going to experience. But the moment you stop and let the emotion consume you, you'll realize that all emotions felt fully lead back to joy. You'll find the joy in your life again if you just allow the emotion to consume you, fill it fully, and allow it to lead you back to joy.
Right.
One of the most powerful things we can do right now is go into the emotion instead of try to run from it, bottle it up, or hide from it, or pretend like it's not there.
Yeah, right on, because that reticular activation system in your brain is going to come in and it's going to, try to take over, and and then you turn around, you look, the tiger or the dog doesn't have any teeth, right? You're running from this thing that doesn't actually have a bite to it, and you built it up in your mind, and you have this overwhelming anxiety coming, and then all the time that you wasted could have been put forth in prospecting, bringing in new business, new deals, or actually addressing the problem. So that I think that's right on point. And also with your point about being more empathetic, I think just in general, I think it goes back to men are from Mars, women are from Venus conversation. I think men a lot of times in that dynamic of a relationship, we try to solve the problem and we try to go right to the answer instead of doing what you said, being a little bit more open to listening and kind of slowing it down.
Yeah. We don't want to experience it. We try to process it. It doesn't need to process. It needs to be experienced. There's some things in life, I forget what the quote is, but there's some things in life you do with your eyes closed because they're meant to be experienced, not seen.
Mm.
And it's the same thing here. Emotions are meant to be experienced. Experience them.
Yeah, I like that.
Don't run from them. Just experience them.
That's right. We're talking with Jerick Robbins here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes, and you can reach Jerick at results@JerickRobbins.com, results@JerickRobbins.com. So you've got your business growth accelerator helping businesses. I wonder if you might have a recent success story that you might want to share with us, Jerick.
Sure. We have lots of them. I was telling you about one of my favorites, which was in Louisiana. Young couple, they had a 50% increase in overall net profit, 171% increase in profitability. 50% increase in overall revenue, 171% increase in net profit, and 195% increase in what they took home.
Wow.
I think I messed those up twice. Anyways, their business grew a ton, and they got to keep a lot of it. And when we look at them, what was the real cause of this? It was upgrading their team. It was putting better people in the positions they needed to play the game. When we look at this, we always ask business owners, if you were to rate your team, first off, let's rewind. What stage is your business in? We go from rowboat to go fast boat. A rowboat, you're the army of one. You're trying to go far fast, but you're doing all the rowing yourself. No offense, it's really hard to go 100 miles in a rowboat at any sort of consistent speed. It is exhausting.
Right.
If that's what you are in business, we need to elevate you. Level 2 is you're a dragon boat. A dragon boat is one of those really cool boats you see in Hawaii with like 15 people paddling.
Yeah.
And usually there's a guy or gal in the front of it screaming their head off. Row, row, row. And, if you don't yell row, your team doesn't move. So number 2 is a dragon boat. And your job turned from rowing to yelling. But you're still needing to be there, and you still got to scream row every day, or your team doesn't do what they're supposed to do at the level of performance you desire. Good news is it goes faster, and it's less exhausting for your physical body, but more exhausting for your mind and your mouth. The third level is a pontoon boat. This is the very first time you get an engine on the back of this thing. The good news about a pontoon boat is it's very comfortable. A lot of times these things have a hot tub, some champagne glasses. You can bring the family on board, and you can even let your kid drive it. I mean, you could have your 10-year-old kid driving the pontoon boat around the lake, and the good news is it doesn't go fast enough that it's going to harm anybody if they accidentally bump something or do something silly. I mean, they can play around and have fun. Now, if you think of a 55-foot fountain racing boat with 7 engines on the back that goes 100 miles an hour in open water, you can't let your kid drive this one. If you have a young child and they grab the wheel of this thing and they yank it hard to the right or left, people are going to die because that's way too fast for a boat at that speed and performance. Now, the job of yours changes in this series of evolution of business from rowing to now, instead of rowing as a go-fast boat, your job is to point it in the right direction and set the trajectory. Number 2, to decide how much gas you want to put into the engine. You're deciding how fast we're going to go and which way we're going. That's very different than rowing your face off all day. So number 1, where are you in your business? Are you rowing everything yourself? Have you evolved to a team who's rowing for you? Have you evolved to an engine where, you can now let other people start to drive and it goes places and it's cozy? Or have you really evolved to a true owner? And a go-fast boat allows you both to drive it yourself, and at some point, if you're smart, to step out of it and allow your racing team to drive that boat for you at the highest capacity possible, which puts you in the position of what we call a true owner. So number 1, where are you as far as the structure of your team and yourself? Hopefully you're in the go-fast boat or at least the pontoon boat. Number 2, how would you describe your team? How this company got 50% increase in revenue and 195% increase in net profit was by upgrading their team. And so if you look at your team, I use basketball as my analogy to think about this. Do you have a pickup ball team where you walked around the neighborhood and found 3 or 4 people who look like they might play the game, who you're like, hey, come play ball with me? And they kind of said, okay, and that's your team, that's your business? Do you have a high school basketball team where you picked the best players in the local space that you could find? The best salesperson you could find in this city, the best marketing person you could find in this city. It's kind of like high school. They pick their players from a local community. Do you have a college team? I mean, you went around the country and you scouted the best CFO, the best salesperson, the best marketing person in the whole country and recruited them onto your business. Or do you have an NBA All-Star team? The NBA is a couple hundred players, but the All-Star come down to about 15, 20 players. Yeah. Have you gotten your first team All-NBA 5 players that are the best in the world at what they do, and you recruited them onto your team? Right. As soon as I taught this process to my client in Louisiana, we started to upgrade their team person by person, little by little, and as we did, their revenue grew, their net profit grew, their profitability grew, because they had better people doing the processes more efficiently.
Yeah.
It works really well.
Yeah, that's important. Let's take a quick break here. More with Jairek Robbins. When we come back, we're going to take a quick break here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. He's a performance coach. He's an author, and he's got some awesome business growth accelerator programs. Stay with us right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back after this short break.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty with your real estate market update for Hillsborough County in Tampa Bay. Residential listings at the end of December 2020 were 2,634 properties active as listings. That is down 2,498 year over year, 2,498 less listings. That's down 48.7%. Coming down and looking at the solds, at the end of December, we had 2,505 properties sold. That's plus 262 sales, plus 11.7%. So the sales are up, inventory's down, 95% absorption rate in Hillsborough County, and a 1.05 month supply, a strong seller's market as well in Hillsborough County. Reach out. We'd love to talk to you if you're selling, buying, selling, or investing in real estate. My wife Lindsay and I own a top 1% ranked real estate team with Keller Williams Realty. 813-750-0550. Call or text 813-750-0550. Also, you can see the website consumerqb.com. consumerqb.com, and we would love to help you win. I'm a certified negotiation expert, and we can help you win in your real estate deals if you're buying, selling, or investing. And of course, tune into our Consumer Quarterback Show, 4 o'clock drive time right here on AM 860 The Answer, FM 93.7 on the FM dial. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day.
My friends,
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team. Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate deals. If you're buying, selling, or investing, work with the top 1% ranked real estate team right here in Tampa Bay. Out of 25,000 plus realtors, we rank in the top 1%. So we'd love to talk to you. Reach out to the hotline, 813-750-0550. You can call or text that line, 813-750-0550. And we have special guests with us, Jairek Robbins on the Consumer Quarterback Show, performance coach, author, and JerickRobbins.com. So, Jerick, I wanted to ask you as well. I mean, I remember one of the previous times you were on the show, you talked about how, you've been immersed in personal development, professional development, business strategy almost your whole life, and even started off as walking on fire, doing a fire walk with your, with your mother when you were in her belly. And you must have had so much good advice over your career. What's some of the best nuggets of advice that you've ever received in your life, man?
I think one of the best advice or the best tool someone taught me over the years was a process called thinking time. There's a gentleman named Cal Newton who wrote a book called Deep Work, and it talks about how some of the most powerful discoveries in business, life, relationship, in writing have all been done when people disconnect from all the chaos and the hustle and bustle of life, they unplug and they go somewhere, and they just allow themselves first to let all the noise fizzle away, and then to just spend deep thinking time on one specific thought or one specific challenge or one specific idea. And some of the most prolific and insightful discoveries has come from that. I think at this point in history, because of how much is going on and how accessible all the humans are. I mean, my goodness, we have something in our pocket that keeps us connected to chaos 24 hours a day. I mean, this thing buzzes, beeps, dings, and brightens up our room at 2 a.m, and the human reaction is, let me see what it is.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like, no, that's sleep time. Turn that thing off. Put it in the other room. You don't need it. You're good. But that's what we do, and so we're lacking deep thinking time at this point in history. And to notice that, listen to some of the music. At one point in history, there was this beautiful music that had deep meaning and profound emotions tied to it, and it was like poetry.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you listen to some of the songs, and I don't even know what the heck they're talking about. It's like whack, whack, wiggle, wiggle, whack, whack, wiggle.
Yep.
And I was like, I don't know what the profoundness of that message was to life, but I think it kind of just missed. And it's due to people who are trying to make something work fast instead of doing the deep work to actually get to something that's really juicy. And so thinking time is one of the most powerful business tools. One of my business mentors who's been buying and selling companies for over 40 years, he's done some of the largest real estate deals in the entire county he's in. He's made hundreds of millions of dollars. He's lost hundreds of millions of dollars and made it back again. And he said the most powerful tool he has in his entire business toolbox is thinking time. The ability to process a single issue for a significant period of time to come up with real solutions. And I think with all the chaos going on in the world today, we're so quickly trying to solve things, we're not coming up with really thoughtful solutions.
Right.
We're coming up with quick fixes that sound good on the surface and think they might work, and it's just leading to more problems instead of better situations.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such an interesting time because on one hand you say, wow, I'm connected and I can earn a living while I'm on the boat or I'm out fishing. I can still answer emails and get deals done, or post social media content, etc. And then on the other, it's like you said, we're connected to all this negativity, especially during a political election year. And you look at some of the craziness going on with passing trillions of dollars of stimulus money that's not actually going to the people. It's going to global programs, Pakistan, gender studies, all different types of things. So it's an interesting time to be alive. Got about a minute left, so final thoughts, Jerick.
I think for people out there right now, two things. One, focus on what it takes to build yourself to be the happiest, healthiest, strongest version of yourself. If you're that, you become an addition to community instead of someone who's dragging the community down. So number one, focus on building yourself up right now. Things we've talked about before on the show, 3-minute ice cold showers, breath work, your ability to focus on gratitude, your ability to experience emotions. All of these things are critical. As you're building yourself up, build your team up and build your business up. If you want help with any of that, feel free to reach out to us. I ran into my website, JerickRobbins.com. We have lots of tools available for you. We'd love to be of service and to help you make that happen.
Excellent. Great stuff, Jerick. Thanks so much. Appreciate the tips, and keep up the good work out there, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. JerickRobbins.com. Find him online, JerickRobbins.com. And when we come back, Dr. Harold Shinitzky on the Consumer Quarterback Show, sports psychologist here, author of A Champion's Mindset. We're going to dive deep into that here on the show. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com.
He already signed off.
There.
Okay, I got the doctor on the line if you want to chat.
Hey, Doc, how you doing?
I am doing well, sir. A pleasure to connect with you.
Awesome. Likewise. Yeah, so this is going to be a great show on mindset. We just finished up 24 minutes with Jairek Robbins.
Oh, son of.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
So
you were trained by his dad, weren't you?
That's right. Yep.
Oh, what was the focus? Anything in particular?
Well, we talked a little bit about business. He's got a business accelerator program and some really good recaps there on how to upgrade your team. So, yeah, we talk about...
Maybe now that sports
one second.
The crowds are coming back, after the coronavirus leaves, what are athletes going to experience with, I don't know if that creates a mental approach that you have to change your mental approach as an athlete. I'm sure you did.
Okay.
When fans weren't there, it became a little more personal, but now they're coming back again. I don't know if he's had any clients or anyone that had to change the way they work because they need the crowd. They suffered when the crowd wasn't there, so they're looking forward to the return of
That might be a good one. James mentioned, now that crowds are coming back to some of the football or some of the sports teams, maybe that might affect their mindset.
Interesting. There's a lot of potential of that. It comes down to contact. Less so than, I've got to impress 70,000 people.
Right.
Am I going to contract something from high-fiving people and getting really close to them?
Okay. All right. Here we go. We'll come on down with it.
Johnny's ready?
Yes.
Johnny's ready.
Everybody please stand by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate deals, buying, selling, or investing. We would love to talk to you. Also hiring right now. We're looking for a couple of positions, realtors for our team. So reach out. We'd love to talk to you. 813-750-0550. Call or text the hotline. It's an off-air number, 813-750-0550. And consumerqb.com. You can see links there to all of our expert contributors at consumerqb.com. Got a couple of hot properties here in Tampa Bay as well. 604 East Morgan Street in Brandon. This is a property that's an office building, so it's great for professional office, could be daycare, could be all types of businesses. 604 East Morgan Street in Brandon is one of our hot real estate listings on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Also, we've got 801, 803 Palm Avenue in Tampa. This is a great investment opportunity. Partnered that with 1905 Taliaferro, and now you've got 3 units side by side, could be used for assembling a real estate development. You can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
And this segment is brought to you by Replenish IV Solutions, the science of nutritional balance. I love visiting Stephen and Lisa Gunnan's office down there at Replenish IV Solutions, Gandy Boulevard, Carrollwood, and Wesley Chapel, and also locations at your home or office. So Replenish IV Solutions, longtime friends of the Consumer Quarterback Show. If you want to feel energized, hydrated, replenished, this is a safe and effective way to restore your body's systems with crucial vitamins and nutrients, enabling them to perform at optimal conditions. Replenish IV Solutions, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. All right, we have Dr. Shinitzky. He's a sports psychologist, back on the show. We've had him on before, and he's also a president of Florida Psychological Association as well, and worked with Olympians, professional athletes all across the country. Welcome back to the show, my friend.
Absolutely a pleasure to join you. Thank you.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. So, it's an interesting time that we have here in our, in our country. It's post-COVID somewhat. We're still in the middle of it, but there's a vaccine. And, when it comes to sports, some of the crowds may be coming back. So wondering what that might do to the mental side of, preparing for athletes.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a great question. The first part of that would be, due to the pandemic, there are going to be some athletes who are going to be far more conservative in terms of running along the sidelines and high-fiving fans. They're going to probably keep social distance. When the pandemic began, the question was, how are the athletes going to handle no fans? And one of the things that we're constantly emphasizing with our athletes, that there are three things that don't matter: the name of the event, the number of fans that are watching, and the potential trophy. So if you're focusing on that second one externally, on your fans, whether they're there or they're not there, you're not focusing on the one thing you control, which is your performance.
Right.
So for most of the elite athletes, whether there's fans or not is not going to actually have a significant impact on their capacity to perform. And they've learned that over the years, from Pop Warner all the way up through, the minors to the majors. So the big issue probably is going to be for those individuals who are a little concerned about the virus itself.
Right.
And you're going to probably see athletes, when they're around each other in their family, that group of players, the brothers, they're going to be insulated. And then when they sit away from that, they're going to be masked up, stepped away, social distance, because they realize that their careers, their futures are on the line. And so, yeah, fans are going to be in the stand, but they're socially distant from the players.
Yeah, that's an important part of it. It's you can't change that. Focus on the one thing at a time. Matter of fact, Gary Keller, billionaire owner of our company, Keller Williams Realty, wrote a book called The One Thing, because that's all your mind will let you do is focus on one thing at a time. And multitasking is kind of a misnomer. You can't really multitask, can you?
No, it is so much of a misnomer. The human brain does not multitask. Now, some individuals can process quickly. They move from one to another, but you are focusing on one. Now, some of the people I work with will tell me things like, well, yeah, when I'm really focusing on studying, I'm listening to the music in the background, or I've got my phone next to me, and if someone happens to like a post that I have, I'll check it out and I'll comment. I'll say it's probably more fun, probably more stimulating, but it isn't better.
Exactly.
I always want to emphasize, you want to be effective before efficient. You want to be quality, competent. You want to be successful before you want to do more things or do it faster. So it's always effective before efficient.
Yeah, that's an important point to point out. Sometimes I get onto, or I try to correct my daughter, because she'll want to listen to music at the same time. I do my homework better when I listen to music. I say, no, if you want to put on classical music, maybe that's one thing. But talk about that. The brain is going to be listening to the words coming out of the music, and the focus is going to be diluted, correct?
Absolutely. If you're recognizing the words in particular, you're already splitting your attention.
Right.
And if you want to give 100% of your focus attention to some task, you really need to be decreasing the external stimuli. So it is a misnomer. Too many people, unfortunately, have fallen prey to that, because we live in a society that is stimulation from the external. Yes. We actually have to practice increasing focus. And by the way, speaking of that, each one of us can focus for a specific length of time. We can also purposely, intentionally lengthen the amount of time that we can focus. And there's lots of activities that you can slowly, incrementally improve your attention and concentration, which is what we do with all elite athletes or corporate executives to help them stay in the moment. So you want to increase the length of time that you focus, plus you want to be able to catch yourself when you lose focus and go on a daydream, and then bring yourself back at a quicker pace.
Yeah, that's so important. In my office, I have a little mini trampoline. So I'll take breaks, I'll jump up from it, and I have the stand-up kind of desk, or I can sit down. So yeah, I believe life is almost like a sprint. When you look at it from a certain perspective, especially work. When you're looking at work, you want to focus on work. Don't think about what you're doing after work. Focus on work and sprint, and then take that quick 3 to 5 minute break, whatever it is, 15 minutes if you need it, and then get back to work. Back to work. The thought is power of focus. So what you focus on is going to expand, and where your focus goes, your energy is going to flow. So when you look at, and here's another scenario. We've got a couple of young athletes in studio here, friends of ours visiting. We got some pitchers in studio. So they are, one is a senior, I believe, pitching in baseball, and the younger brother, I believe. So what would be for a high school athlete, especially, quarterback on the football team, pitcher on the baseball team, what are some key factors that they want to consider to be performing at their optimal levels, Doctor?
Oh, guys, listen, pay attention right now. Grab a piece of paper, write these things down. All right, here we go. Everyone talks about a pre-pitch or a pre-play routine, and you need to have that. One of the things that actually the research shows is the thing that differentiates the most elite, the best of the best from the rest, not the best of the best from me, but the best of the best from the rest of the other pros, is the 5 to 10 seconds after whatever just took place completes.
Right.
So we will all react. We can't help it as humans. If something goes the way you want, you will be pumped. If something doesn't go the way you wanted, you will react with kind of a negative kind of tendency. And that's normal for all of us. The question is, how quickly will you respond? And so I always teach what's called the post-shot routine. And the post-shot routine asks yourself 3 questions. What was the plan? What actually happened? And what do I learn from this? You want to go from emotion to cognition, from feelings to thoughts. If you're really pumped up, excited, I just struck out that guy, and you're, I'm the man, you're not learning what was it I just did in order to perform in that moment. So you're not really getting any benefit. And if you happen to give up a home run, whether it was a great pitch or a bad pitch, if you gave up a home run, we will react. There'll be a sense of frustration. It didn't work the way I want. And if you don't shift from emotion to cognition, that may dwell, that may linger, at which point you now are frustrated, and frustrated makes your muscles tighten up. You have nanomuscular contractions, which means your form breaks down, your consistency breaks down, and your performance overall decreases. So contemplate, if you could, after you get, you've got your pre-pitch routine, you take care of whatever happens, and then you have to be able to try to shift from emotion to cognition. Imagine like you're getting a private lesson from you to you. After every single one of these, you reset, and then you put yourself back in the proper state of mind for the next point, the next play.
I like that. Imagine you can get a private lesson from you to you. So then it's all up to you to correct and not get caught up too much in the emotions. That's one of the challenges people have in real estate. We see a lot of emotions come out in people's lives. We see the emotions running high, especially if there's money on the line. But we have to understand and recognize that as human beings, we are irrational and emotional beings, right? And so
we are.
The more that we can connect with that, and more that we can recognize that. I like what you said. You're going from what was it? Going back to the cognitive state, right?
From emotional to cognition, from feelings to thoughts, and that's how you move forward in life. Imagine the best coach out there turning to one of your teammates, and something goes awry. You know that they would be probably supportive, encouraging, compassionate, telling them to put it behind them, to kind of do what brought them here. They would be using that mindset to be able to get them back in the game. Imagine if you did that to one of your friends. You would do the same thing. Now I ask you not only to look at it from a third-person point of view, but now do that for yourself. First person, bring that same mindset to you.
Yeah, that's excellent stuff. Great nuggets of advice there. Let's take a quick break here. We're going to pause and come back with Dr. Shinitzky here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. More tips, and also I want to relay a little bit into the business world. I know a lot of business owners, folks out there listening, hey, sports may not be exactly where you're at in your life, but this relates to business as well. It relates to life. If you're a single parent, if you're a business owner running multiple businesses, juggling multiple things, stay with us right here on the show. We're going to dive a little deeper into this strategy and here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. And our feel-good story of the day, Miami janitor quietly feeds thousands and loves the reason. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here, host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, with your Pasco County real estate market update for residential listings in Pasco County. At the end of 2020, December 2020, we had 1,361 properties available. That is down 1,429 less listings, and that's down 51.2% year over year. Now, looking at the sales, you had 1,260 properties sell at the end of December 2020. That's plus 156 sales, plus 14.7%. So dividing the solds by the listed, that gives us a 93% absorption rate. Wow, 93% absorption rate, and it's only a 1.08 month supply. It's a strong seller's market in Pasco County, and my wife Lindsay and I own a top real estate team here in Tampa Bay, top 1% ranked real estate team here in Tampa Bay. So if you're selling property, we would love to talk to you to help you maximize the exposure, maximize the profits, and I'm a certified negotiation expert, so we can help you win in your real estate deals. Give us a call, 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Also, you can view the website at consumerqb.com. That's consumerqb.com. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate your support, and we'll see you on the radio. 4 o'clock drive time, AM 860, The Answer.
My friends, when choosing a listing agent to sell your home, their track record is critically important. Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Real Estate. They're consistently rated by the MLS in the top 1% of all Tampa Bay realtors, and that's a big deal. Brandon and Lindsay are always among the top realtors in the state. Call them today at 813-750-0550.
Find them at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. A couple of hot listings here from the Platinum MVP team. 1813 East Knollwood is a property that we've got in Seminole Heights. This is a renovated property close to downtown, close proximity to Ybor City downtown, lots of jobs and the airport as well. 1813 East Knollwood. This is almost 1,300 square feet, 3-bedroom, 3-bath. You have a carport, large fenced-in backyard, and newly renovated close to downtown Tampa, Seminole Heights area. Great opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay. 12208 Four Oaks Road. This is a development deal in Tampa. Could potentially be zoned to commercial, just depending, because it does have some great corner road frontage. But you've got $1.8 million asking price, 5 acres. R9 is the zoning, so you could build residential units, potentially change zoning at 12208 Four Oaks Road. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, every day we're going to tell you something good here in our feel-good story of the day. We're going to tell you something good.
Tell me something good.
All right, so we got a Miami janitor quietly feeding thousands and loves the reason. So part-time janitor in Miami has cooked 1,000 meals a week for the hungry since the start of the pandemic. Meet Dora Moreau. Moreau, a 60-year-old widow, works part-time as a janitor at our technical school, walking or taking the bus, but the work for her heart is feeding the hungry. Every Thursday and Friday, Moreau borrows the church's trucks to buy groceries. Notre Dame Catholic Church pays for the food, relying on donations. So Moreau then single-handedly prepares the meals while church volunteers serve or deliver them to people in need. And, quote, Americans, Spanish, Haitian, they come here, she said, end quote. And even when I'm closing, they say, please, can I have some? I give it to them because if they go home and have nothing, it hurts my feelings. She takes care of everybody from A to Z. Reginald Jean Mary, pastor at the church. She's a true servant. She goes beyond the scope to be a presence of hope and compassion for others. And until recently, she's done it all without a car. Last week, Moreau was surprised with a new Toyota Corolla by community leaders. So very cool story. And she ends the quote with saying, I can keep all the money for myself and never give anyone a penny, she said. But if you give from your heart and never think about yourself, God will provide for you every day. The refrigerator will never be without food. So there's our feel-good story of the day. Tell you something positive here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Dr. Harold Shinitzky here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, sports psychologist, author of Champion's Mindset here on the show. So, Doc, we wanted to talk a little bit about transitioning from sports talk, which we did a great job on that. I appreciate the nuggets of advice. What about in sales? What if you're in business? What if you're a single parent? How can we translate that? Because so much of it in life is about mindset. It's about attitude, having that attitude of gratitude. What do you say to that?
Well, first off, if I can comment about the fantastic hero that is doing so much work for the community, I always want to emphasize to people, though you can't do everything, don't do nothing.
That's right.
We can make that difference. As a professional, one of the things that individuals are oftentimes looking at is this idea of how can I guarantee something? And I want to emphasize that there are no guarantees in life. If I was to just ask the adults in the room, everyone would say, well, the two guarantees are death and taxes. But besides that, study your hardest, it doesn't guarantee an A. Work out your hardest doesn't mean you make the team. Same with sales. Preparing your best does not mean that you're going to close the deal. So I always want to emphasize, though there are no guarantees, what you are doing throughout your entire life is increasing your probability of success. So what can I do, which are all the steps that take me in the direction that I need to? Do I have to become more knowledgeable about the product line? Do I have to understand what my competitors are? How do I become a better interpersonal communicator?
Right.
What are the skills I need to develop? Rather than focusing external and blaming those things, what are the things within my control? And so, again, if I want to get better grades, I can't just wish it or just kind of say I want it.
Yeah.
I have to study. I have to prepare. I got to meet with the teacher. I got to maybe find a friend that I can study with.
Right.
I don't have to do all of them, but if I'm doing each one on a regular basis, I'm increasing my probability of success. So anyone who's listening, look at it as incremental. Find out, and as I always love to say, and this is going with what you're talking about, everyone's good at what they're good at. It's the things that are your errors, the unforced errors, the things that are your limiting thoughts or maybe some repetitive patterns. If you could, for a moment, just stop, reflect, and think, what are the things that I have done that unfortunately I've repeated kind of on a common basis? It takes some soul searching. And if you can identify what that is, whether it's a mindset or a pattern of behavior or an implicit bias or whatever it might be, take that as a roadmap.
Yeah.
This is something I want to now master. I want to triumph over. I want to take my greatest flaw and make it one of my greatest successes. That will shift everything in your life.
Yeah, I love it. And one of the things you mentioned as well, at some point you said, I wish. I think so many times the language that we use, we're telling ourselves this broken record of negativity, and we're using words like I want or I wish. Or I'll try. Almost immediately when somebody says I'll try, you pretty much know how that's going to end, but I'm not going to get to it. I'm not going to do it, right? I need could be construed as, because I ain't got it. I don't have it. I'm a lack. It's a lack response. It's a lack mindset. I can't. Sometimes people say I just flat out say I can't. A lot of times that's younger children. and you got to break that habit. But it's kind of like I'm trying, but I'm not committed. I'm not 100% committed. Or I hope, which means, it might happen, it might not. So many of these
hope is not a plan.
That's right. So many people use this disempowering language. So you got to come up with replacements like I have, I create, I'm grateful for, I will, yes, I enjoy, I appreciate. So words are very powerful tools, Doctor.
Absolutely. The words that come out of someone's mouth reveal what their thoughts are. So I am grateful when someone shares that point of view because it tells me what they carry with them. And for me, whenever I hear someone who say, like, I can't, or this is just the way I am, or, it won't be, I always have to jump in and I tell them that there are 2 times I respectfully, disrespectfully interrupt them. Mm-hmm. One of them happens to be when I hear this axiomatic, dogmatic, all or none statement of this is just the way it is.
Yeah.
And I always point out to them that apparently you're predicting the future, so you're damning your future because of your past.
Yes.
We're the only species on the planet that can alter our life trajectory. And if we just stop for a moment and realize that if we want to change the direction, remove permission, advance our skill set, challenge ourselves, we actually can reach greater heights than we ever imagined before.
Yeah. And the other thing that happens is other people tell us we can't and we believe them, just like a lot of these motivational type stories have gone around the block 1,000 times, but there's one about, the monkeys are being tested. They put bananas at the top. They climb up the pole. They spray them with water, and then eventually they give up. And then eventually it gets to a point where the monkey's introduced to the cage and he doesn't even try because the other have already said, no, don't go up that pole. They're going to spray you with water when you get to the top and you're not going to get there anyways. So how do you relate that to human beings?
There was some research done, and I got to tell you, it's kind of some painful research. Martin Seligman did this research.
Got a minute, by the way. 1 minute left.
They put an animal, unfortunately, in a box that had an electric grid, and the animal got shocked. It ran off. Then they blocked the ability to leave, and the animal just dropped and took it. It's called learned helplessness.
Oh, wow.
And many people in society have that same sense, that there's no control on their outcome. And we can actually teach people to now start looking for options, alternatives, possibilities. Yeah. But it must start with your mindset. Then you can see the opportunities and the options.
Yeah.
But it has to start with your mindset.
Yeah, believe it, then you'll see it, not the other way around. Believe
Absolutely.
it in your mind. Go after it 100%, and don't make excuses. Just get it done. All right. Hey, good stuff. Thanks, Dr. Harold Shinitzky. A Champion's Mindset is the book. What's the website for you, Doc?
www.drshinitzky.com, drshinitsky.com.
Awesome. All right. Please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. We'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for The Consumer Quarterback Show.